Good afternoon, students. So the last part of the online class today we are going to take, and we are going to just wind up the portion that is a very small portion that has been left. Okay. So we were discussing about diseases. We covered bacterial diseases, then we covered about your viral diseases. Thereafter we covered about your protozoal diseases, right? Then we also covered fungal diseases. Now we are going to discuss about helminthic diseases. Okay. So this helminthic diseases, when you are seeing, it's caused by worms. As I've already told you, it is caused by what? It is caused by worms. The first helminthic disease what we are going to discuss is Ascariasis. So hope everyone had a good vacation and you are ready to come to school. So day after tomorrow we will be meeting in school, right? So fine, get prepared, be healthy, and let's meet. Okay. Yeah. So helminthic diseases. The first is Ascariasis. So the Ascariasis is caused by a worm, and the name of the worm is Ascaris lumbricoides. So Ascaris lumbricoides is the worm which is causing the disease called as Ascariasis. Ascariasis we have already seen in the lab last year, right? Now this is commonly called as Ascaris lumbricoides is called as roundworm. And I have told you already what is an endoparasites. This Ascaris roundworm, when you are seeing, they are living inside the body of the human intestine, and then they are getting nourishment from us and harming us. Okay. So Ascaris lumbricoides is otherwise called as roundworm, and it is an endoparasites. So parasites, I told you, are of two types. One is ecto and another one is endo. Here it is endo, living inside. Ecto means living outside. This is endo. They live inside the body of the person and affects the person. Okay. So Ascariasis, when you are seeing how it is spreading, okay. Obviously, since it is a worm, the worms will be present in the feces. So through the feces, through contaminated food or through contaminated water. We discussed about amoebiasis, the same thing only, isn't it? So through the contaminated feces, through contaminated food or water, the disease is spread from one person to another. The eggs which are having this roundworm eggs, when you are seeing, it is being transmitted either through water or through food. So usually when you are saying, sometimes the vegetables, the fruits and all will be contaminated by these roundworms. How they are getting contaminated? Like for vegetables as well as fruits, we used to give manure, isn't it? So this manure is rich in nutrition, but at the same time they also may contain the eggs of this Ascaris. So this eggs, when you are saying, it's very small, it may be deposited on the fruits or the vegetables. So before cooking the food, it has been advised, always we advise, isn't it? Properly we have to clean the fruits as well as the vegetables, then only we have to take it in. Why? Because they may be contaminated with this eggs. And if this is getting into my body without washing, without properly cooking, if I am taking it in, then what happens? I am likely to suffer from the disease. Okay. So this Ascariasis gets transmitted through contaminated food and water. Okay. Now, moving on to the symptoms, when you are seeing, the first symptoms I told you, since it is affecting the intestine, abdominal pain. So something related to digestive disorder. So abdominal pain will be there, indigestion will be there, constipation will be there, sometimes internal bleeding will be there because they are sucking a lot of blood out of it. Because of which you can find internal damage of the tissues will be there, which is causing what? Internal bleeding. Muscular pain, muscle cramps will be there. Obviously, you are likely to suffer from fever. Okay, so fever is another symptom. Anemia, red blood cell count will be gradually coming down. Okay. Then nausea, headache, nausea, drowsiness will be there. Fatigue will be there. Headache you have. Sometimes there will be blockage of the intestinal passage. So as if the intestinal passage is getting blocked, which is causing somewhat indigestion, digestive disorders. Okay. So these are the symptoms of what? Symptoms of Ascariasis. So abdominal pain, indigestion, internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, nausea and headache, blockage of the intestinal passage. So these are the symptoms of what? The symptoms of Ascariasis. Okay. The next disease what we are going to discuss is filariasis. Filariasis is otherwise referred to as elephantiasis. You would have seen, isn't it? So the person who is suffering from the disease will be having somewhat the lower body, the legs just bigger because of inflation of the what we call it as the lymph nodes, the lymph vessels. The legs will be becoming very big and it will be resembling somewhat like the elephant's leg, somewhat disfigured. Okay, so that disease we call it as what? Filariasis or elephantiasis. Especially the reproductive part will be affected, that will be getting swelled up, or the lower extremities, the legs, the foot and all will be getting swelled up. Okay, so this disease we call it as either filariasis or we call it as what? Elephantiasis. Now how it is spreading? It is spreading. Again, it is caused by a worm. The worm is present from the infected person. Imagine someone is infected. The mosquito is the one who is the vector here. It's not the food or the water, it's the mosquito. Okay. So throughout the mosquito, when you are seeing the mosquito here, it is Culex mosquito. We discussed about dengue and all, it was Aedes. And we discussed about malaria, it was Anopheles. And now it is filariasis or elephantiasis. What is the mosquito name? Culex mosquito. Okay, so who is causing? The Culex mosquito is the one who is acting as a transmitter, a vector, transmitting the disease from an infected person to an healthy person. So the person is suffering from elephantiasis. So in case if this Culex mosquito is going and biting, obviously the worm will be present in the mosquito. Then if this mosquito comes and bites a healthy person, then the worm will be introduced into the healthy person. Okay, so like that, Culex mosquito is the vector over there. And who is the worm there? What is the name of the worm? The name of the worm is Wuchereria. Sorry, it's Wuchereria brancofti. Okay, so what is the name of the thing? Wuchereria brancofti or Wuchereria malai. Okay, so Wuchereria Bancrofti or Wuchereria malai. Okay, so this is the one who is causing the disease. Wuchereria bancrofti or Wuchereria malai is the causative organism of this disease. Okay, and now how the symptoms, what are the symptoms? As I have already told you, usually they are causing inflation of the lymph vessels. Because of the inflation, accumulation, the lymphatic vessels will be getting blocked. So all the water, the fluids will be getting accumulated, because of which the part will be becoming much swollen. Okay, so the lower extremities, the below the when you are saying hip, the lower extremity, the leg, the reproductive organs and all will be getting swelled up. Okay, the figure is there in the book, we can find. So symptoms: inflation of the organs where they live, and blockage of the lymph vessels of the lower limbs resulting in swelling. Lower limbs appear like legs of elephant, thus the name elephantiasis. Okay. Genital organ means what? The reproductive organs can also be affected, leading to deformation. Deformation means disability. It will be looking disfigured, having a very bad appearance. Okay. So this is regarding the symptoms of what? The symptoms of elephantiasis or filariasis. Now, till now what we discussed about all infectious diseases, isn't it? So this infectious diseases, when you see, has to be controlled. You know how dangerous it is, like whether it is malaria or whether it is elephantiasis, whatever the diseases are very much means based on severity. You can find different diseases are having different severity, and it has to be seen that we are not getting infected by the same. So always prevention is better than cure, isn't it? So after getting a disease, then you go for treatment and a cure. It's better not to get the disease. So for not to getting the disease, what you can do? You have to prevent. You have to take some measures, isn't it? So what are the measures that can be taken? When you see, so the first measure is that maintenance of personal hygiene. Very important is that you have to maintain good personal hygiene. You have to take bath daily, you have to see to it that you're combing your hairs, you're cutting your nails, everything should be proper. You have to use separate towel, separate comb, separate brush, everything. You should have it, and you have to take care that you are keeping your body clean. Okay, clean and hygiene. So drinking water, the food, everything should be properly cooked. That is also coming under what? Your personal hygiene. Okay, you have to take care of yourself. So the food what you eat should be properly cooked, should be properly taken. Don't go for the street foods. Thereafter, the water should be properly taken, like clean boiled water. If you are consuming it, vegetables, fruits, and all, before having it, you have to wash it properly and take it. So all these hygiene, if you are maintaining, so obviously by maintaining personal hygiene, you can take care of the diseases. That is number one. The second thing is that public hygiene. Public hygiene means what? The proper disposal of the waste. If there is a waste disposal somewhere, it has to be taken care by the municipality people, or you have to tell the municipality people and take care that all this waste is being disposed properly. Okay, biodegradable, non-biodegradable, whatever measures has to be taken. And if there is any breeding grounds or any places where there is stagnant water, then you have to make sure that that has to be dealt with. Okay. So you have to clear of those places. Okay, the drains and all should be properly covered. Otherwise, if it is open, then obviously there are chances for the organisms, the pathogens, the vectors to prevail there, and they can cause the disease, isn't it? So public hygiene you have to take care. Okay, so ponds or reservoirs or drainage, drains or waste disposal places is somewhere near a locality, you have to take care that it has to be maintained properly. By combined effect of the community, you are going to take care of the same. So if you are taking care of the same, obviously to some extent you can control the disease, spread of diseases. Okay. Next, eradication of vectors. I told you mosquito breeding places, mosquito nets, mosquito repellent materials, spraying of all those DDT, all chemicals, so that the vector is not prevailing there. Okay, so breeding places and all, we have to take care that it is not there properly and it has to be taken care. So that is the next thing. Then vaccination and immunization program. Vaccination. So these diseases, some of the diseases can be prevented in case if you are vaccinated, like diphtheria, polio, okay, tetanus. All these things, if you are vaccinated, obviously the disease, you will not be getting it, severity will be very less. So you will not be getting attacked by the disease. So you have to take vaccine and immunization. You know, the children, they have a schedule for vaccination schedule, and all the vaccine has to be taken on time. Okay. So that is the next way by which you can prevent the disease. And at last, use of antibiotics and drugs. Now, prevention is okay. Now, how to control it? Obviously, from becoming very dangerous, we have to control it. So, how to control it? You have taken care of prevention, but in spite of all prevention, you have got the disease. Now, what you can do? Only you can treat it, isn't it? So, properly, whenever you are having any diseases, fever, something strange is being noted, immediately you have to go to the doctor and find out, diagnose what the disease is. And accordingly, you have to take the medicine, and thereafter you can get cured by the disease, taking properly on time the treatment. Okay, so by this we can prevent as well as we can control the spread of the diseases. With this, I think we can wind up and we will be meeting in person from day after tomorrow. So have a very nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.